footytips.com.au TV.
Welcome to footytips.com.au TV. My name's Francis Leach. I'm here with Beverly O'Connor and Bev. I'm here to announce my resignation as the host. No, it is the week of resignations. I thought I should get in on the act.
And 2 in 1 week, 4 in 1 year. I cannot believe it. I don't think there's been a year like it in the history books.
I don't think so either. But what does it do for your tips? That's what we really need to know. Round 17, it throws in a really different dynamic for at least 2 games and a couple of others as well.
Absolutely, you're dead right.
Firstly though, speaking of different dynamics, Western Bulldogs, West Coast Eagles, Telstra Dome Friday night. I was in Perth for Ben Cousins' return. Quite extraordinary in its own.
Could you have predicted such a phenomenal return? I mean, I just could not get over his physicality, how strong he is on his return.
Not only him, the return of Ashley Hansen. Embley starting to get a bit of the footy at the moment.
Daniel Cheek had his best game in ages, so I think they are back. But they've got to come over to the Telstra Dome. But the Doggies, to me, they've just lost their way. Too many injuries.
Too many injuries. I'm picking the West Coast in this one.
Me too.
Ben Cousins will get a hot reception, I can tell you that. There's no doubt about it. New coach, Brett Ratton, gets his chance with the Carlton Football Club against the Saints, also at the Dome.
Francis, your boys are back, and I think this is the game where I don't think the coaching change is going to make that much of a difference. Again, Fev's out. They're not really playing to win at the moment. They're playing to regroup. Your Saints boys are looking fabulous.
Well, they've gone from a goal average of 9 goals a game mid-season. Their last 5 weeks, they've made that to 14, so they're 5 goals better just for getting out in the park. They'll win, and they've got a history of beating Carlton quite easily in the last couple of years. I expect the same.
Again in a row.
I hope so. The really interesting game, Fremantle and Geelong, Subiaco. Mark Harvey won in Adelaide last weekend. The Cats haven't been beaten in 11 starts.
Look, I think Freo are obviously playing for a lot. There was a lot of emotion last week, but to get over there in Adelaide, I think they're a very good chance at home. But Geelong, look, they're just looking terrific, but they've done so many on the trot. It could be the time for them to just go down. I'm going to go Freo.
I'm going to pick the Cats. I think even though they won in Adelaide last week, Freo, it will mask a few problems, but they've come up against a team that have answered every challenge so far this year.
They have.
So I think the Cats will make it 12 in a row. And what should be the round's best game? Collingwood and Brisbane shapes up as a ripper too, because the Lions have found form. Jonathan Brown, 10 goals against the Blues, 117-point win last week. The Pies just
not looking great against Essendon, and Lee Matthews have said they want to come to the MCG and really beat the Pies on their own turf. The Pies with a dream run, but I'm not sure it's going to help them. I think Brisbane could really challenge them.
I think Collingwood in a very tight game. I still think the Magpies have got enough quality, and their fighting spirit is quite extraordinary. This is another great game.
Yeah, but the Pies, I think you're right.
The Pies maybe in that one. Sydney and Richmond, well,
let's write it off. Sydney,
the
fall
Swans.
back.
I don't think we can say much about the poor old Tigers at the moment.
Poor old Tigers.
That is your absolute get out of jail best bet, that one. The Hawks and the Kangas shapes as a ripper too. That's
at Aurora. Look, it's so hard. The Hawks had a bad loss last week. It just seems to me the midfield just went missing a little bit. Kangas just really surprising all the pundits. So I reckon Kangas could get up.
I'm going to pick the Kangaroos too. I just think the Hawks are feeling the pinch a little bit. A really great season from a bunch of young players who've given them enormous drive this year. They're just starting to feel the pinch
Buddy
a bit.
Franklin, they're starting to be able to close him down a little. He didn't have a bad match last week though.
And the Kangaroos know how to beat teams who are slightly off their game. So the Roos in that one. Essendon and Adelaide. Now this, Telstra Dome, Sunday afternoon. The Crows also a little bit wobbly. They've lost a couple of games in recent weeks that they maybe thought they could win. The Bombers are still 8-8. They're in the hunt for the finals, and you cannot underestimate how emotional things will be for the Bombers on Sunday at home.
It'll be very emotional. They are still, though, missing a couple of key players that have been so terrific for them this season, like Olwen Davey. So, look, I think it's going to be very emotional. This is the one game where I think the Crows should watch out, and I think Essendon could get across the line.
I'm going to pick Essendon too. I just think it is just going to be such a motivating factor for the next 6 weeks. They're going to be super dangerous, and the Crows will need to be at their best. Melbourne and Port, MCG, Sunday afternoon.
No, well, it's over in Port. So, in fact, I think this is not going to be a happy hunting ground for us. We have got Maloney coming back from the dreaded osteitis pubis, but look, I don't think it's going to be enough. Port are running really well at the moment.
They are, and the two Corns boys in fine form. Chad Corns possibly a Brownlow chance, and they just look like they're licking their lips, getting ready for the showdown next week. I wish I could see the D's, but
sorry, D's.
It's going to be tough. Okay, well, that's it for round 17. What can happen next week? Will either of us be here? Who knows?
We'll do it on our head next week.
Absolutely. Good luck with your tips, and we'll catch you next week at footytips.com.au TV.
footytips.com.au TV.